Hello, it's Charles here from Charles Good Food. In today's video I am going to give you 5 tips to get you started on your baking journey. In today's video I'm not going to do any baking, and that's why I am in our shop in London, and I'm going to show you how my shop looks. And the noise is from the high street, don't worry about that. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell and smash the like button. Let's dive into it. Tip number 1. Don't expect your bread to look like supermarket bread or from a baker. Your bread will be your bread, and it will look homemade, it will feel homemade, and it will taste homemade. If you go to a supermarket and you buy a white loaf, it will keep fresh for like 22 days, and it will not even mold. Don't expect your bread to be like this. This bread has more than 30 different ingredients, which are completely unnecessary when you bake at home. For example, take this pain au chocolat, bought in a supermarket, absolutely no crust, probably made with margarine. The chocolate is not even chocolate, and it has so many ingredients you can't even count it. Take a look at that. That's fantastic. Burger buns, bought from a supermarket. Don't expect your bread to look anything like this. It has even a bread they call a sourdough, and it has like 15 different ingredients, and it has yeast, ascorbic acids, and all kinds of crap. I'm not saying any of these brands are bad, but if you expect your bread to look like this, then you might as well go and buy it in a supermarket, Tesco or Walmart or wherever you do your shopping. You want your bread to have a little bit of attitude and edge to it, and it has to look homemade. Here's a homemade sourdough bread. It has some nice crust. This bread only has flour, water, salt and sourdough, and that's it. And here's some homemade pastries that has some crust with a 70% chocolate, organic flour and real butter. Cinnamon buns, nice color. So don't expect your bread to look like this or like this. Your bread will look homemade. It will have attitude, it will have edge, it will have taste and flavors. Tip number 2. Don't be afraid to fail. If you go on Instagram and you see all these home bakers and bakers that are making some perfectly shaped bread with a nice ear and open crumb and super crusty, that is totally fine, but that is not where you start. Start with making a simple recipe with yeast, a white bread, and start simple. And don't be too obsessed with the hydration of your dough. You will see a lot of bakers and Instagram bakers that are doing like 80, 90 and even 100% hydration. That is not a good place to start. Start with a 60-65% hydration and then move your way up if that's what you want. You might not get like a open crumb, but you will get a regular nice bread, home baked in your own kitchen at home. Of course, it's home baked. Tip number 3. When you are baking bread at home in your domestic oven, try and introduce some steam to your bread. It will give you a nice oven spring, and it will give you a fantastic crusty bread with blisters and a nice shine to it. And you can do this in several ways. You can put a tray in your oven and put some water when you put in your bread. Or you can bake in a cast iron skillet, which creates its own steam inside and will give you a nice oven spring and a nice golden crust with some blisters, and that's exactly what you're looking for. Tip number 4, use organic flour and use some fresh flour. I use flour from Shipton Mill. There's plenty of brands out there that do an organic range, and if you have a mill at home, use that and make some fresh milled flour at home. But make sure your flour is fresh, because flour is a little bit like if you take your coffee beans and leave it open, your coffee will taste funny and it will not taste of anything. That's the same thing that happens with flour, especially if you use wholemeal flour. It will go rancid, and that is because there's more natural fats in the wholemeal flour. It has the bran and the endosperm. So make sure you use fresh flour. Tip number 5. One of the most important things in baking is to use your senses. You need to feel your product, you need to smell your product, you need to taste your product, and you need to listen to your product. Feel the flour, feel the dough, feel your sourdough, everything. You need to feel it. You need to smell it. If your sourdough smells a little bit weird, then your bread is going to taste a little bit weird. So very, very important. Taste your products. Try and taste your sourdough. Try and taste your flour. If your wholemeal flour is a little bit old, then you're gonna discover it when you taste it, even before you bake. Listen to the crust when it comes out of the oven. Crust is singing. Smell the aromas when you're baking. Smell the aromas of your cinnamon buns or whatever you're baking. Very, very important. And no recipe can teach you that. Join a Facebook group or watch some YouTube videos and engage in the comment section. There are so many baking groups on Facebook, and there is so many people out there baking fantastic bread, and I found that that is the best place to get the best advice when your recipe is not working, or when your oven is not working, or when everything, when all hope is out. Then turn to these groups, engage in the groups, share your pictures and share your bread and share your recipes. It is a fantastic way to learn new things. And that is it from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell and smash that like button. And I hope I helped you a little bit on the way on your baking journey. And remember, it's all about having fun, and keep on baking, and see you next time.